Hi, my name is Lex. I'm your psychedelic care navigator at Althea, and I wanted to take a few minutes to help you prepare and understand what preparation really looks like for a legal psilocybin journey experience and really for any psychedelic experience at all. The first process for you is to find the right facilitator for your experience. You want to find someone that you feel connected with and comfortable with. The more you can eliminate feelings of distrust and discomfort in the process, the more likely your subconscious mind will open up and allow you to explore it. So choosing a facilitator that makes you feel like you can take a deep breath, that you feel resonant with, is truly one of the most important pieces of the equation. Now, aside from finding the right facilitator, you really want to understand why preparation is important, because if you can understand why it's important, then I think you'll spend a lot more time making sure you are prepared for the experience. The reason preparation is important is because it's going to provide a lot of context for the journey itself. Think of this like a story. Every good story has a beginning, middle, and end. The middle is the journey itself, the beginning is the preparation, and the end is the integration. And so if we don't set up the context properly for the journey, then the ending doesn't make sense either. And that's really what you're here for, is the outcomes. I like to think of preparation as a whole as how you frame the experience that you're going to have. So if you really think of it as a picture frame, you want to think about the picture that fills the frame as the experience, the frame is your preparation, and then you observing the whole thing after the fact is your integration. Now, it may sound silly because you might want to just jump right to the art, right to the picture, right to the journey in this analogy. But actually preparing the frame ahead of time can make sure that your picture frame hangs beautifully in your home, aka your mind. And the more intentional you are with this process, the more that you're going to get out of the experience itself. So when you properly prepare your frame, then you have way more reference and way more context to look at the experience through after the fact. You'll have a much easier time in your integration understanding than if you don't prepare at all. Most people think that intention setting is actually all that preparation is, but there are a lot more components to it than just setting the intention. Number one that lays the foundation for the experience as a whole is how your physical self feels going into it. Preparing the body with proper nourishment, with proper movement, detoxing from things like alcohol and cannabis is a really great way to prepare the physical body to be able to receive the medicine. This doesn't need to be crazy, but it does need to be intentional. So paying attention to how your physical body feels is a really important piece of the preparation process. Number two is the environment in which you do the experience in and the environment in which you plan to come back to. It's really important that your space feels clean so that you're not thinking about these things while you're in the journey itself. You want a place that feels really comfortable to land and to journey in. So that might be important when picking a facilitator. You might want to ask them, where do they facilitate out of? Do you need a place that has access to nature? Do you need a place that has access to natural light? Or do you just want to be internal with an eye mask on, going into your own internal landscape? These things are really great things to consider for your journey. Number three is your physiological self. So how you prepare the mind. So we're kind of working up the system now. Some ways that most facilitators will talk about are mindfulness practices like meditation, yoga, journaling. You also want to make sure that you're digitally detoxing, not scrolling social media, not binging the news, making sure that your mind feels clear, making sure you have the clearing conversations if you need to have them, so that when you go into the experience itself, you're not hung up on all of these distractions that might prevent you from going in with what you really want to get out of it. And the last piece at the top of the pyramid for your preparation is your intention. We'll dive into intention a little bit more because it is an important piece and a bit more complex than the others, but your intention is really what you wish to receive from the experience itself. And to make a clear distinction, it's not an expectation, it's merely a way of being curious to the process of how this process can support you. Now, I also want to be clear, if this feels overwhelming, you don't have to focus on every single component for your preparation. There might be pieces of this that are already really solid for you, or it might be that you need to focus on all of them for this new way of being that you desire to step into. And I just want to give you permission that it's okay. It's okay to take it one step at a time. So if you're going to the experience with this overwhelm, release yourself from that. You don't need to do it perfectly. As long as you have something that you feel anchored to, that feels like a way for you to enter the experience and feel more agency, then that is exactly what you do. Think about what would be most supportive for you. based on those last 4 components that I shared of physical self, of environment, of physiological self, and of intention setting. Now let's talk about setting an intention, because this is the part where most people get really confused. Setting your intention is simply setting your anchor point. And if we go back to the analogy that I gave at the beginning of this video, it's really how you set the frame for how you'll view the experience, both during the experience and after the experience. And again, intentions are not expectations. You cannot promise that you're going to receive a certain outcome. If you do that, you'll be too attached to that outcome and you won't allow space for what the medicine wants to show you. Sometimes we get too far ahead of ourselves and we desire to be at a certain outcome, but we don't actually allow the magic of the process to unfold, and then we feel frustrated, and then that's not supportive. So when you set your intention, think about it being more about the process itself. How can you be more curious to how the process is going to go? For example, if your intention is that you want to be healed after the experience, well, you can't promise that for yourself, but you can set the intention of desiring to see where you're not healed yet, or where it would be helpful for you to focus your attention. Being more curiosity driven is going to create way more space for it to happen the way it's meant to happen. I also like to give the recommendation of making your intention 1 sentence max. Trying to go into the journey with a paragraph worth of intentions is not going to be supportive for you because it's harder to reference. So when you're in the journey, if you're having a hard time, or if you're going in a direction that doesn't feel supportive, or if anything at all is happening, you want to be able to anchor back into that intention. So having it be 1 sentence and having it be something that you can feel like you remember as you're journeying is going to be highly supportive for you. And again, at the end, your intention is also how you look back and integrate the experience. If you can properly prepare and set an intention ahead of time that feels really good, you're going to save yourself a lot of confusion at the end of the experience when you're integrating. To wrap this up, the more you prepare for the experience ahead of time, the more clarity you'll find on the other side. Preparation isn't about just setting an intention. It's also about how you prepare your physical body, your environment, and your mind to be more open to the experience. Picking a facilitator that you feel comfortable with is a really important piece, which is why we help you with that process at Althea. Lastly, going into the experience with a clear 1-sentence intention is going to help you ensure that you get what you're looking for from it. Even if the experience goes sideways, you can always look at the experience through the lens of a strong intention. And of course, we're here to help. We want to help you find the right facilitator so that you can have the experience that you're looking for. Every facilitator has a different preparation process, so knowing what preparation looks like can be really helpful as you go into these free intro sessions, knowing what questions to ask and what works for you. If you have any questions on the process at all, feel free to email us at Althea and we'll help you find the answers. And last but certainly not least, journey well.